Today we study chapter 3, Jainism and Buddhism. In the last chapter we have studied Vedic age. The Aryans first settled in Punjab. In the 6th century BC, they moved east and settled in Uttar Pradesh. And this was accompanied by many changes, socio-economic and political changes. In some places, tribals ruled the areas, and in some other places, kingdoms. With this, there was spiritual leaders also. This is your question 2. Answer to question number A. Please note that. And Aryans cultivated the land and economical changes. They became very rich, and this surplus wealth they used for military activities, and the small kingdoms were expanded and created Janapadas and Mahajanapadas. During this 6th century BC, there were many religious reformers like Saurashtra in Persia, Confucius in China, Mahavira and Gautam Buddha in India. We discuss Jainism first. Sources of Jainism. The literary book Angas. The Jain scripture, we call it Angas. The teachings of Mahavira were written in 12 parts. A part is known as Angas, and all this together, 12 Angas are known as Dvada Shangi. Among them, 2 important Angas are Acharan Sutra and Bhagavati Sutra. Acharan Sutra deals with the code of conduct for the Jain monks, and Bhagavati Sutra are the teachings of Mahavira or Jain doctrines. Then 3 Pitikas, Buddha's religious books, we call it 3 Pitikas. And why it is known as 3 Pitikas? All the teachings of Buddha were written on long, narrow leaves sewn together and stored in a basket. And that is why they are known as 3 Pitikas or 3 baskets. And these 3 baskets are Vinaya Pitika, Sutta Pitika, and Abhidhamma Pitika. What is Vinaya Pitika? Vinaya Pitika are the rules and regulations for the monks and nuns. And the Sutta Pitika are the teachings of Buddha and also some of other disciples of Buddha like Sariputta, Ananda. Their teachings are also included along with Buddha in Sutta Pitika. And Abhidhamma Pitika deals with the Buddhist philosophy. It describes the working of the human mind and the state of matter. Then Jatakas. Jatakas are the tales of the previous birth of Buddha in human form and animal form, the previous birth. And the future Buddha may appear as a king, an outcast, a god, or an elephant. These Jatakas throw light on political, economic, and social conditions of the people of the 5th to 2nd century BC. They also reflect the morals and ethics of principles. 3 Pitikas, Jatakas are the sources of Jainism and Buddhism. Now, causes for the rise of Jainism and Buddhism. Reaction to Hinduism. The Hindu religion was very expensive. Ordinary people found it very difficult to follow it. Corruption in the religion. To earn more money, the Hindu priests asked the people to perform yagyas, and the Kshatriya rulers protested against the dominance of the priests. Caste system. There were 4 castes: Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra. It was very rigid. A person of one caste could not become a member of other caste. So, interchange of the caste system was impossible. These 2 leaders, Mahavira and Buddha, protested it. Third cause is difficult language. Aryans used Sanskrit word language. It was very difficult for the common man to understand it. So these leaders preached the local languages, Pali and Prakriti. Political conditions. Bimbisara and Ajatashatru helped these religions to spread. Another cause is agricultural economy. Aryans believed in killing of animals for sacrifices, and it affected the agriculture because animals were needed for ploughing. To protect the animals, Jainism and Buddhism opposed the killing of animals. Jainism. Mahavira is a founder of Jainism. But before him, there were 23 Tirthankaras. Tirthankara is the spiritual leaders or acharyas. And the first Tirthankara is Rishabdev, and the 23rd Tirthankara is Parasanath. And the Vardhamana Mahavira is the 24th one. With this, with Mahavira, Jainism became very popular. He was born in Kundagrama in Vaishali in Bihar, and his father was a Kshatriya and his mother was also a Trishala, belonged to a royal family. Both were royal families. He was very brave. That is why he is named Mahavira. And at the time of his birth, the kingdom was prosperous, so he was named Vardhamana. At the age of 30, he left his royal family in search of truth and roamed around 12 years and met many scholars. And after 12 years of penance, he attained knowledge. This we call it, and subdued his desires, and he was known as a conqueror of the soul, or Jina, and his followers are known as Jains. Preaching. After getting the truth, his first sermon is at Mount Vipul, Rajagriha, in the capital of Magadha. And the Jainism spread to neighboring kingdoms like Avanti, Kosala, Anga, Mithila, Chamba, Vidiga and Vaishali. He died at the age of 72. The important teachings of Jainism. Jainism did not accept the Vedas. They are against Aryans, Hinduism. First 5 vows: Ahimsa, non-violence; Satya, not stealing; not telling lies, Satya; Abharigraha, not possessing any property; brahmacharya, practicing chastity, unmarried life. Ahimsa means non-injury to living beings, especially to human beings, animals, plants and insects. According to Jainism, there are three ahimsas, three forms of ahimsa: physical violence and violence in words and mental violence. What is physical violence? Like killing, causing injury or pain. Violence in words, using harsh language. And mental violence, like ill will towards others, like jealousy, etc. 9 truths. Living things, ajiva non-living things, punya result of good deeds, pava sin, good deeds, asrava sanvar hindrance to the way of karma, bandha bondage, narjara destruction of karmas, and moksha. These are the 9 truths of Jainism. And important point is the doctrines of Jainism, 3 ratnas. To get to moksha or salvation, one has to follow these 3 ratnas: right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. Then karma, they also believe in karma. What is karma? Our actions. We believe in life after death. The present action depends on the next life. Punarjanma, people. Good deeds alone liberate man from the cycle of life and death. It is present action. Action should be good. Accordingly, we get rebirth. Equality. They treat everyone as equal. There is no caste system. Men and women all are equal. But in Hinduism we say that they are not treated as equals. Eternal soul. Mahavira believed in the immortality of the soul. That is, soul, Atma has no death, only body dies. Salvation. It is also Hindu philosophy that man can get salvation, mukti or moksha. It is the freedom of the soul from the cycle of birth and death. They believe in penance, like starvation. Spread of Jainism. Jainism spread, we have also discussed earlier, to Magadha, Mithili, Chamba. In South India also, Jainism spread. Rashtrakutas and Chalukya kings patronized Jainism. Chandragupta Maurya supported Jainism and he died in Karnataka, Odisha and Rajasthan. In all these places, Jainism spread. Then what are the causes for the spread of Jainism? Local dialect means local languages. They taught to the people in the common Prakriti language, which is understood by the common man. Then royal patronage. Chandragupta Maurya supported, and Chalukyas and Rashtrakutas also in south, Orissa, Karavala king also supported this religion. Then there were many missionaries, missionary spirit, like Kalkacharya, who lived in Ujjain, and Saint Bhadrabahu. They spread Jainism. Then appeal to the people. Why people welcomed this religion? Because of simple life and spirituality and also austerity. It was not luxurious like Hinduism. Divisions of Jainism. Jainism split into two sections, Hinayana and Svetambaras and Digambaras. The leader of the Svetambara is Stulabhadra and the leader of the Digambara is Bhadrabahu. Svetambaras wear white clothes. They cover their mouth with faces, covered their faces with white cloth because they did not want to kill small insects. They fasted and did not believe in extreme penance. Digambaras, they are the followers Bhadrabahu. They are in Karnataka. They were sky-clad, did not believe in covering their bodies. They walk naked because they did not wear clothes because to avoid killing of life forms. To wear clothes we have to kill many insects and germs. That is why they did not wear any clothes. Impact of Jainism. Since they believed in ahimsa, people lost the warlike instincts. So it was easy for the foreigners to attack India. Political impact. Social impact. It discarded casteism, ritualism of the Hinduism. Society was reformed. Then language. They taught the people in the local languages, that is in Prakriti, not in Sanskrit. Then art and architecture. Many monasteries, stupas, well built, Kandahari caves, in Odisha, Dharmashala, etc. Orphanages were also built. And the Jaindan in Bahubali's statue in Sravana Belgola in Karnataka, where Chandragupta Maurya died. Then Dilwara temple in Abu in Rajasthan. Doctrines of decline of Jainism. One is they preached rigid austerity, that is punishment, penance and fasting to death, etc. did not like the people. Then another reason is ahimsa, that did not kill even the insects. All this did not supported the people. Then there were no missionaries, so Jainism did not spread in foreign countries. But Buddhism spread to foreign countries because of the royal patronage. And Jainism advocated equality of men, did not do away it totally, though they practiced equality but did not completely oppose this equality. And revival of Hinduism, the Guptas revived Hinduism, so this is also one reason for the decline. Buddhism. The founder of Buddhism is Gautama Buddha. He was also born in a Kshatriya clan, born in 563 BC at Lumbini near Kapilavastu. One important event in his life is a great renunciation. Gautam Buddha was driving through the town and he saw four sights, the great four sights: the old man, the sick man, and a dead body. And all these three sights gave him severe sufferings, and he thought about a man's destiny. His mind was very unhappy by seeing these three sights. And the fourth sight was a sannyasi yogi. So the four sights: old man, sick man, dead man. And when he saw this ascetic, he was consoled, and he saw an ascetic in search of salvation. So these four sights are known as four great sights. So he left the palace. This event is known as the Great Renunciation and Enlightenment. So to find the truth, he left his family at the age of 35 and meditated under a Bodhi tree in Gaya in Bihar. And he got truth, and he was known as the enlightened one. So how Buddha got enlightenment? This is your answer to fifth A question. Then after getting full knowledge, he gave his sermon at the Deer Park near Varanasi. This event is known as Dharma Chakra Parivartana. Then Buddhism also spread it to many other countries like Magadha, Kosala, etc. He died at the age of 80, 483 BC. Teachings of Buddhism: Four Noble Truths. By heart, this is a very important question. Four Noble Truths and Eightfold Path. The world is full of suffering. The suffering has a cause. Desire is the cause of the suffering. If desire is stopped, suffering can be caused. And how we can stop the desires? For this he gives eightfold path: right action, right thought, right belief, right living, right speech, right effort, right recollection, right meditation. So to remember this eightfold path, if you remember a word, Madalaves, you can remember it easily. Right meditation, right action, Madalaves word, remember it. Attitude towards God. Buddha was silent about the existence of God, but he formally never denied it. He says that the whole universe was controlled by Dharma. Then code of conduct: not to tell lie, not to own property, not to consume alcoholic drinks, not to commit violence, not to indulge in corrupt practices. Karma, we have discussed earlier also, Hinduism and Jainism, same thing. And states on moral life, good actions. Nirvana, that is also same thing. Salvation, the freedom of the soul from the cycle of birth and rebirth. Then universal brotherhood. They did not believe in a caste system. No faith in rituals and sacrifices. Ahimsa. Buddha also preached ahimsa. So this is your question 16 question number. Then how Buddhism spread? Sangha. Sangha is an organization to spread Buddhism. And the membership was given to men and women. They were known as monks and nuns. The minimum age was 15 years, and they had to take an oath: Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dharamam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. 10 commandments. Speak the truth, follow brahmacharya, not to harm creatures, not to shun music and dancing, take meals only at fixed times, not to use intoxicants, not to use scented goods, not to sleep on cushions, not to keep money. This is your answer to 6b question, 10 commandments. Viharas. Today's Bihar state named after Viharas. Vihara is the place of living, dwelling places of the Buddhist monks. 8 months they had to roam and preach Buddhism, and they sleep in Viharas. Now Bihar is planning to rename Bihar into Vihara, because of Buddhism started in Bihar. Then divisions. 2 divisions, Hinayana and Mahayana. Hinayana denies the existence of God. They believe that Buddha was not a God, and they did not believe in idol worship. They used Pali language, not Sanskrit, to spread to India, Sri Lanka, Myanmar and Cambodia. Mahayana Buddhism believes is that Buddha was a god, and they made statues of Buddha and worshipped it. They made their goal Sarga, bliss, rather than attaining nirvana. Then impact of Buddhism. Ahimsa used as a weapon against the ills of the society. They protected the animals, because we have studied that in Hindu religion they were killing of animals for sacrifices, but Buddha did not believe in killing of animals. Then influence on religion. Buddhism gave a challenge to Hinduism. So there was a religious reform movement in Hinduism, and they removed all the costly yagyas and sacrifices. Then weaker sections in the society got an opportunity to say their ideas. Political impact. The republics of Sakyas, Vajis and Mallas also embraced Buddhism. Ashoka also and Kanishka also embraced Buddhism. Then cultural impact. It spread to East China, East Asia, China, Sri Lanka, etc. Then language. Many books were written in Pali language. We have discussed all these things like Mahavamsa, Deepavamsa, etc. Then art and architecture. They constructed many stupas, chaityas and viharas. Some of the important stupas, Sanji Stupa, and also the Sanjis and Chaityas. What is Chaitya? The place of worship. Stupas are a semi-circular construction where the relic of Buddha is kept. Important is Sanji Stupa. Then decline of Buddhism. Split in Hinduism. That is 2 divisions, not only 2 divisions. there were 16 divisions of Buddhism. Then language. Mahayana section was a combination of Hinduism and Buddhism. So they also, when Guptas ruled India, they brought back a Sanskrit. So people could not find any difference between Buddhism and Hinduism. Then corruption. The monks led a luxurious life and they lost the spiritual life. Then reforms in Hinduism. We have discussed earlier that to attract the people, Guptas used Sanskrit language and Hinduism was revived. The invaders also adopted Hinduism. The Sakas and Satavahanas also adopted Hinduism. Then invasion, Turkish invasion. Then Bakhtiyar Khilji attacked India and destroyed Nalanda and Takshila University. So the monks had to run away to Nepal and Tibet. The end of royal patronage. Rajput rulers were warlike people, so they did not support Buddhism. Then the similarities between Jainism and Buddhism. This is your answer to question number 7C. Both were Kshatriya rulers. Both attained salvation. Both did not accept Vedas. Both believed in non-violence. Both followed chastity, brahmacharya. Then dissimilarities, differences. Buddhism was a new religion, but Jainism was there before. But Mahavira popularized it, the 24th Tirthankara. Buddhism followed a middle path. Jainism believed in hard penance. Buddhism spread in many countries. We have studied China, Japan, Sri Lanka, etc. But Jainism did not spread beyond Indian shores.